For whatever reason, someone recently asked me what my thoughts were on being a citizen or citizenship. And that was something that just stopped me dead in my tracks, because I realized I don't really know what it means to be a citizen anymore. In today's globalized world, what does that mean? Do you know what it means to be a citizen? All right, so that was something I really had to stop and think about. And what I came up with kind of surprised me. Citizenship, as near as I can figure, in its most basic, simplest form, is a status given to free people that have entered into a covenant or an agreement with each other on a set of rules for self-governance. So a system of rights and responsibilities. Okay, that's best I got for that. And I think that part's pretty clear, and I think most of us would agree that's what citizenship is, which is why citizenship goes hand in hand with democracies or republics. Okay, and this is something that Victor David Hanson's talked a lot about, and I thought he had some really good insights on this and pointed out some interesting things also. Okay, what a citizenship part, I think we can all agree on. The problem I kept running into, or the problems, first of all, are we free? Okay, now we could debate what freedom means all day long, and truly none of us are ever really free, because we're always dependent upon each other in some way. In a community, we depend upon each other. So are we ever really, truly free? At the same time, though, at one time, being a citizen meant you could travel freely. You could leave the country and enter the country freely and travel to other countries. That was one of your rights as a citizen. Okay, well now, the only way you can enter the country and leave freely is to not be a citizen, to be an illegal alien. If you're a citizen, you got to get the government's approval, and then you got to pay them money. And are we citizens now? Are we free? Okay, which in the age of globalization, what does that mean now to be a citizen or free? Okay, the other problem I've got, here in the United States, okay, our covenant, our agreement at federal level is the Constitution. That's the formal agreement that we have with each other on our rights and responsibilities and the powers we as citizens, free people, the powers we give to our government, what we allow them to do. Okay, well, so many now in this country view the Constitution as irrelevant, an outdated relic of the past. And I can't say that they're wrong. I mean, that agreement's been broken so many times now that what purpose is it really serving anymore? I mean, it provides some restraint on government. I'm not really sure how much anymore. Okay, and this is something that's been a problem for a really long time, and I've got two great examples. Okay, and we're in our polarized era right now, right and left. I've got an example for each, and it's the same example in a way. Okay, right to bear arms. A lot of people are hating on the Second Amendment right now. Okay. Well, we used to have more rights to bear arms than we do now. All right, but then along comes the National Firearms Act, I think of 1934, and Congress, by the Constitution, was never given the right to ban anything. Our founders didn't give them that right. They just kind of took it. All right? And what they did is they used their power of taxation to get around them not having that power to ban things. So they come out with the new law that you can't have firearms unless you've got a tax stamp. All right, so that's how they controlled fully automatic firearms. All right, and to get one to this day, you have to pay a fair bit amount of money and apply for a tax stamp. Okay, the Supreme Court says, yeah, that's okay. Even though the intent of that law was just to bypass the Constitution, the Supreme Court said, okay. All right, well, I think it's obvious that that whole tax stamp thing was just a workaround to ignore the Constitution, to take powers that were never given to Congress. Okay, well, and that's the right, and I'm sure a lot of you anti-gun people would be like, yeah, way to go. Don't worry about that. Don't let that Constitution slow you down. That's something that needs to be done. Good on y'all for doing it. Okay, well, they also use that same loophole that they created to outlaw marijuana. Yeah. Okay, well, did the exact same thing with marijuana. In order to have marijuana, you had to have a tax stamp because they don't have the authority to ban it. Except for with marijuana, they never issued a tax stamp. Okay, they don't have the authority to ban that. So they created a law that in order to possess that, you had to have a tax stamp from the government, and they never issued a tax stamp to anybody. So therefore, it was a ban, obviously. Again, Supreme Court said, okay. And since then, how many more powers has the government taken on? Look at our regulatory agencies today. I don't even know how many regulatory agencies we have, but more laws are passed in the United States right now by regulatory agencies than by our legislative body, Congress, which is Congress's sole purpose is to pass laws. They're the legislative branch. Those regulatory agencies fall under the executive branch, the president, and they're passing more laws than Congress, or more regulations. You might as well say laws. Okay, so is the Constitution still relevant if so many people are not following it? So the concept of citizens is pretty straightforward, and I think we can all agree on it. The big question is, are we citizens? Are we free people now? Okay, and I feel like we're kind of in a gray area, and not just in the United States, in all Western nations. Okay, so our friends to the north and Trudeauistan, yeah, y'all have lost y'all's minds up there. I don't know if it's the cold or what got to y'all, but okay, Australia, y'all don't have the cold for an excuse, but what happened during COVID? I mean, that was bad, okay? Great Britain, y'all gonna lock people up for posting offensive memes? Seriously? Okay, here in the United States, we've got our own issues going and coming at the moment, so are we citizens now? And back as far as our covenants being broken, and I feel like they have in all Western nations, but okay, here in the United States, one of our founders, John Adams, he said that our Constitution was made for a religious and moral people, and it is wholly unfit for any other. Okay, so by the words of one of the document's creators, our Constitution now is unfit for us, or it's not unfit for us, we became unfit for it. And so we've become immoral, and so many of us not religious. Can citizens exist when the citizens are corrupt? There we go, that's a good way of putting it. And as far as our government, this is something that occurred to me some time ago here in the United States. Our democracy is alive and well. Okay, the people in our Congress, they really do represent, as far as immorality, they represent the people that voted them in very well. I mean, we've got a nation of people that can't control their spending, have entirely too much debt. And they've elected people and sent them to Congress that are just like them, that can't control their spending and have entirely too much debt. Kind of explains the whole student loan situation, doesn't it? Which we can go on all day about that and later, but okay, so where do we go from here? I guess that's the big thing. I mean, we're stuck in a gray area. We're not really free, but we're not serfs yet to the corporations. We've got a two-tiered justice system that Rules apply to some, but not others. It depends on who you know and how much money you have. Okay, and then we've got representation where we'll just say the corporate voices seem to be a lot louder than the voice of the people. Okay, I don't know what to do with this. Do we need a new covenant? Are we going to have to rethink this? I mean, seriously, I have no clue here. At the moment, the only thing I can come up with is those of us that are moral and are religious and have values, and I know some of you think, well, religion doesn't really matter that much, and that's not a big deal. Well, it is. Okay, and this is something that just recently occurred to me is, what comes first, my country or my God? It's my God. He comes before this country. My God comes before anything. As a Christian, that's okay. Well, as a result of that, I put morality in trying to tell the truth. I'm not nowhere near perfect. But I'm trying to be better, so I place great importance on being honest and moral. All right, well, for people that they don't put God first, they don't have a religion, or the state is their religion, or the environment. I mean, people are returning to paganism, and the environment's become their religion. Okay, is truth and honesty, is that at the top of their priority list? Would they lie to save the environment? Would they lie if they thought lying would save the environment, or it would advance communism or socialism, or make the state more powerful and solve all of our problems? Okay, well, can we have a covenant with people that don't put morality first, honesty first, which is, people that aren't putting God first, or the moral good that comes from God? Are they ever going to put honesty first? Are they going to have some higher value like saving the environment, or the state, the government solving all their problems, whatever? If they're putting these worldly things first, then for them it's okay to lie. The ends justify the means. Okay, whereas somebody that's putting God first, it's all about the means. And God will take care of the ends. How do we coexist? And can we be citizens in a world that divided? I mean, we're talking basic morality here. I know I rambled a lot then, but this is a complicated one. Citizenship, that's easy enough, but are we citizens now? Are we free? I don't know. It seems like we're in a gray area, and nobody really knows what to do now. And the things I just said about religion, the importance of it. Okay, I know self-proclaimed Christians that are leaders in their churches that I wouldn't trust them to cut my grass. And then I know some atheists that are very moral and honest and place great value on honesty. Okay, so religion's certainly no guarantee. I just think people reading their Bibles or their Torahs and trying to behave in a godly manner, I think we got a better chance of ending up with more people that place value on honesty if we're starting there anyway. But again, it's certainly no guarantee. It never has been. All right, which leaves us all with, where do we go from here? And I don't think anybody knows. Almost all of us are realizing just how dishonest our governments have become. We know we can't trust our governments now. Media. Most people are waking up to just how dishonest our media is, mainstream media, which is why the ratings for our mainstream media channels, they're plummeting. All right. People are turning to Joe Rogan. Okay, well, I don't agree with Joe Rogan on a lot of things. I don't share his views on religion. I don't share his views on politics. but I do trust him. I think he's being honest or trying his best to be honest, and that's worth something right there. Okay, and I think those of us that are place value on honesty and are trying our best to be honest, I think we need to support each other. I think that's at least a start. But other than that, I had no idea what we do. And the reason I'm saying so much about honesty, all right, what I said to start with about citizenship being a covenant between, or an agreement between free people. A covenant or an agreement can't exist with dishonest people. What good is it to have an agreement with dishonest people? You can't trust them to live up to the agreement. All right, so none of it works without honesty. Something I said before, so that's got to be at the top of our list on values. And that's all I got. So we got to support honest people when we can and try our best to be honest ourselves. And as far as the rest, I don't know. I know for the moment, yeah, I'm putting my God before my country, and I will each and every time. But right now, our Western nations, and here in the United States, I love what Ronald Reagan said. This is it. We're the world's last best hope. So we've got to keep fighting the good fight, whatever that means. Saving our country, restoring our freedoms, abiding by our covenant, the Constitution. Again, all I got. Okay, I'm going to bed now. I got to get up early in the morning and go work on the house. Hopefully this gives you something to think about. God bless and have a great night.